milestone game after milestone game, Johnny. For sure. 1,000 victories followed up by a game that the Preds win where Forsberg gets goal 300 will put a smile on any Preds fan's face. How about this? How about a milestone comeback to make the playoffs? How many times do I have to say this? Don't get your hopes up.
You ever just want to get down on one knee and thank the hockey gods upstairs that Phil Forsberg is a Nashville Predator?
Hey everybody, it's Jersey Guy. Hold my beer. Are you sure you want me here? Hat trick watch anybody? Is it maybe somewhere that we owe a massive debt to the hockey gods?
Again and again and again.
You're like a kid again, Johnny. Is this happening? Is this happening? This isn't an ad for some dang cookie. I want a piece of that action. Well, you don't have to tell me twice.
What do you have to tell me that is going to make me feel positive? And
maybe the Titans won't let us down on Thursday. Preds, walk it off! Okay, on with Johnny's reaction video.
Redemption take you home.
Preds tie the Chicago Blackhawks 2-2, and then everybody's hands go up, way up, as the Nashville Predators defeat the Chicago Blackhawks 3-1 in a gimmick known as the shootout, thus defeating them overall by a final score of 3-2 in a pretty nice comeback where Stamkos gets his 15th goal of the season, and Forsberg, who's been around a little bit longer, gets 300 goals, all in gold, and not too shabby, backstopping this team to another victory. UC Soros with 24 saves in the win. Following up on Tuesday night's 1,000th win in franchise history, nice timing that the Preds had their reception and luncheon, and then for this game held honorees before puck drop for the first three inductees into the Preds Golden Hall, them being the first GM this team has ever had, David Poile, one of the greatest captains to ever suit up in Preds Gold, Shea Weber, and obviously, for now, until we see what UC Soros does long term, the greatest netminder this franchise has ever known. Pekka Rinne are the first three inductees into the Preds Hall of Fame, called the Golden Hall. You don't need tonight's result to show you that methinks one day number 9 is going to be in the rafters and number 9 is going to be a future inductee into the Preds Golden Hall. Quick aside, I'm not going to let that drag me down, especially since the Preds won, but yet again, let down by NHL Center Ice, who decides to feed me the Chicago sports station because obviously they have no idea what this game means to Preds fans coming off the 1,000th victory. These three people being honored for their time with the Nashville Predators. I have to mute the TV on NHL Center Ice and simulcast in 102.5 the game again. Yay! As for the game in the first period, very undisciplined play by the Blackhawks, I have to say. Despite the fact that they outshot the Preds 9-5 in a period overall, taking 4 penalties to the Preds 1. And the one and only power play goal the Preds would score in that first period would come pretty quickly. Just before the 8-minute mark of the first period, Ilya Mikheyev is in the box for the Blackhawks for everyone's favorite delay of game, and the Preds get immediately to work off of the face-off. Marchessault gets it back to Roman Josi. He gets the puck over to Steven Stamkos, and if it wasn't for Forsberg's goal tear right now, everyone would be talking about him because he gets Josi's pass on a one-timer from the angle side, blasts it home past Soderblom, his 15th of the season, and the Preds have a 1-0 lead over their hated rival, the Chicago Blackhawks. Soon after that goal, big sexy Michael McCarron would oblige Pat Maroon in a fisticuff. Just about 5 minutes left to go in the first. Blackhawks think they score, it's Foligno, but refs immediately wave it off and say goaltender interference. Initial replays show that Reichel was in the crease, preventing Saros from making the save. Blackhawks would challenge the goalie interference. I guess it could have gone either way. Nobody can really tell me anymore what is goalie interference and what isn't goalie interference. It's held up as being goalie interference, meaning the Blackhawks would have to serve a penalty, which the Preds would not score on. And If the Preds' power play with the number of chances they had in this game had been a little bit better, we wouldn't have had the stress of having this game go to the gimmick. Period finally ends, feeling relatively okay, up 1-0 after 20. The second period. After completing and uploading this Preds fan reaction video tonight, I don't want to think about it again this season. A period from hell, basically, because even though the Preds outshot the Blackhawks 16-7, in it, they got outscored 2-0 by Chicago. It starts just before 6.5 minutes into the second period when Brady Shea behind Saros. I don't know what he does sometimes this season. How he computes in his brain what passes he should make because he's behind Saros. And instead of watching who could possibly cut off a pass, cut down the angle, he just rings it off the board willy-nilly. Tyler Bertuzzi stops it before it can get out. Tyler Bertuzzi sets up the player that we know is going to score a lot on the Preds as a member of the Blackhawks for years to come. Hopefully more in losses than wins. Connor Bedard ties this game at 1. A minute and a half later, a shot from the point by Alex Martinez hits the backboard and ricochets out and banks in off of Saros as he tries to calculate the angles and everything. And lucky math gives the Blackhawks a 2-1 lead now. Just the Preds this season to overachieve and pick up their game and do everything right against Vegas on Tuesday, only to regress and play down to their opponents that is down there in the NHL basement with them, with the Blackhawks in this game, and fall behind in it. Nothing else of substance in that middle frame. Period winds down, and this is 44 games into the season. I wouldn't blame anybody else in the fan base since I felt the same way that this team was heading to a defeat. But the third period can have some surprises sometimes. I have to imagine many of you, like me, were hoping, okay guys, have a flair for the dramatic. I don't care. Just find a way to get 2 points to honor what Pekka Rinne, Shea Weber, and David Poile have meant to this franchise. I will give the Preds credit. Through the first 5 minutes of the third period, they are pushing back. They are not giving the Blackhawks much time in the Preds zone. But the thing is, that's not working out quite right for them through that first 5 minutes, is they're not getting the rebounds. But they're getting the initial shots and the pressure, so I'll give them that. Preds still trailing as we reach the halfway mark, but they're outshooting the Blackhawks by a margin of almost 2-1 halfway through it, and they would outshoot the Blackhawks by a total of 14-7 by the end of the third period in that final period. UC Saros is living up to his end of the bargain, not allowing the Blackhawks to get that all-important third goal to give them some room to breathe. And just when we were starting to wonder, we wonder when Bruno would pull Saros for the extra attacker. Just over 3 minutes left to go in regulation. Nick Blankenberg, of all people, with the stretch 2-line pass up to Philip Forsberg, who skates down the right wing board just before the face-off dot, lets a shot go that goes over Soderblom's right shoulder. It's and the Preds have tied it up against the frickin' Chicago Blackhawks, and something I screwed up on this 4-game goal streak. He's got goals in 4 straight games that I have been forgetting to count down. That goal in this game is Philip Forsberg's 300th NHL goal of his career, and it has come all in Predators gold. Someone make sure to hand George Kittle a beer so he can celebrate in honor of his best friend. Preds push as the clock winds down in regulation. Amazingly, the Preds get at least 1 point as this goes to overtime, looking for that second one. Nothing of note in overtime. The Preds outshot the Blackhawks 6-3 in that fourth period, so you could tell they were hungry wanting that second point. Let's go straight to the gimmick. First round, Gus Nyquist beats Soderblom, and then that's followed up by Timo Teravainen, who's able to beat Saros. In the second round, Ryan O'Reilly, the Factor, skates in, roofs it past Soderblom to give the Preds the 2-1 lead in the shootout, and Saros makes the all-important save on the kid, Connor Bedard, giving the Preds a chance to walk it off if they score here. And Coach Bruno calls on the man who got his 15th goal of the season in this game, in the Preds' first shootout of the season. Heck, hey, Steve, go out there in your first shootout and end this game. Steven Stamkos skates in. He learns something from Ryan O'Reilly, and he shoots high, stick side on Soderblom. It's in. Preds walk off this game over their hated rivals, the Chicago Blackhawks. Win the shootout 3-1 and win the game by a final of 3-2. It was pointed out on X tonight when a Preds fan asked him that Alex Doherty of the Tennessean responded and said the last time the Blackhawks beat the Preds was March 16th, 2023. That was 2 seasons ago. I'm glad the boys, in response to that possibility occurring after being down 2-1 after 2 periods, were like, not today, Satan. You know how this feels, Preds fans, because you're most likely Titans fans. Hey, Blackhawks fans who may be watching this, you know how this feels too. You're most likely Bears fans. You never want to lose to the Packers, do you? Well, that's how Preds fans feel about the team that plays at the United Center. Now, the Preds prepare for the second best team in the division. I can't believe I'm saying this. Coached by an old foe, before San Jose comes to town on Tuesday, and you know who's going to be the starting netminder for the Sharks in that game, wanting a little bit of revenge after being traded away. Never a dull moment during the regular season for Preds Nation. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click a like if you liked this video. Click subscribe if you really liked seeing the Preds beat the Blackhawks once again. You can find my social media and interact with me during every Preds game during the regular season and or playoffs by clicking on a channel name. Tell all your friends about Redemption and make sure to pour a beer or whatever your favorite beverage is tonight and toast Mr. 300 Phil Forsberg.